If you're watching this video, I want to speak to you very directly. Like, there's not going to be any bullshit in this. I want to be straightforward. You're seeking a reason to be alive. You're seeking a way, and you're seeking passion and purpose. You're seeking a way to find enjoyment in life so that when you get out of bed, you know the reason why you're up. You know the reason why you are going to work, and you know the reason for what you are doing. This video is going to be straightforward. I'm going to give you advice shared by people from the past who have done great things, and then I'll maybe even mix in a little bit of my own personal experiences. Look, I am by no means perfect, and I am still working on developing my passion in my life and finding a way to bring it into the world and increase it and feel it more. What I can say is that I am pursuing my passion whether or not I get a financial reward from it. And that is one of the core points. So let's get into this and let's find out how you can find, develop your passion and your purpose in life. I'm just going to assume that one of the reasons why you're looking for passion and purpose inside your life is that you feel no passion or purpose in the work that you are doing. Or perhaps you don't feel any joy in the work you're doing. I would assume that if you don't feel joy and purpose and passion inside the work that you're doing, then most likely you may struggle with some of the mental issues like depression, anxiety. You feel like life is a constant grind with no reprieve, and it's difficult to find ways to feel joy and happiness. So let's jump right into this. Let's start covering how to find your passion and purpose in life. First of all, and I know that some of these things that I'm going to ask you, they don't directly correlate to passion or purpose, or may not seem like they correlate, but they hold a very core central piece, an integral piece of developing this passion and purpose inside your life. So please answer these questions, really think about them. I'm asking them for a reason because they really do carry a lot of weight in developing your passion and purpose. So to what expectation or level do you hold yourself to? Do you allow for mistakes within your life? Do you allow for failure? Do you make allowances for judgment from the outside world? So how much does the judgment of a parent or a sibling or a friend or your significant other, how significantly does that impact the actions that you take within your own life? Are you your own person, or do you rely on outside input to tell you which is the right direction and which isn't? How perfect does your life need to be? Do you need it to represent those perfect type lives that you see on your Instagram feed, or do you allow for the messiness of life? These are very important questions. And what is passion and purpose to you specifically? Really define that. What does passion and purpose look like to you? Why do you want it? Like, what is it gonna give you? And I'm asking these questions for a very real reason. Look, if you haven't answered them now, you can finish the video. I would definitely recommend going back and revisiting these questions. I would definitely recommend going back and
revisiting these questions.
Get out a piece of paper and write it down. Like, write down your answers, and you may discover something about yourself. Sometimes making a shift inside of our own life is recognizing the fact that we have a belief that is stopping us from taking the certain actions necessary in order to get the results that we want. So answering those questions can reveal a lot to you about where you are right now and what may be stopping you from moving forward into actually finding your passion and your purpose in your life. So revisiting the question of what is passion to you and what will it give you? I ask this question because let's just use an analogy here, is that oftentimes, let's say we're hungry and I want an apple. And I'm not gonna be happy unless I get an apple. Well, what is an apple going to give me? Why is it that I want an apple? And we could say one is because I want that sweet, kind of tart, crisp juiciness that an apple provides. The second thing is that my body may need sustenance. I may need that glucose hit so that I can keep going and keep my brain operational. I may just be hungry. Well, there's a lot of things that would meet that hidden layer, that core need of getting glucose, getting energy inside of my body and filling my belly so I don't feel hungry anymore. So while I may want an apple, a carrot, or a piece of broccoli, or a couple of eggs would all do the same thing if I allow it. It would fill me. I may not get the same amount of enjoyment, or maybe I would get more and I just haven't allowed for that possibility. So this is why I ask you to get really clear on, what does passion and purpose mean to you? Like, what is it gonna give you? It's very important to figure that out, because oftentimes we only lock on to one path. There's only one way for me to feel passion and purpose in my life, and then everything else is nil. But that's not the case. That's not true. There are lots of ways to feel passion and purpose inside your life, and this is what we want to dive into, guys. So be willing to move your expectation of where you think you're going to get passion and purpose from. So another thing is that you cannot pursue your passion or your purpose without faith that it's going to work out. Robert Schuller, who was a lecturer, a teacher, and also an author, said every human being is born without faith. Faith comes only through the process of making decisions before we can be sure that it's the right move. So can you reach? Can you take that step without knowing exactly where you're gonna land? And that leads into the next part of discovering your passion and your purpose. Do what is right in front of you. Meaning oftentimes we have a goal, we have a vision, we have this dream of where we want to end up. And we think that unless our next step is going to take us directly to the end goal, this vision that we have, it's not worth taking. We want to see what's way out there, and we want to understand what our next steps are, and that keeps us from taking the very first steps, because maybe it doesn't look like it's going to lead to that end vision, that end goal that you could have. So there's a quote that I used inside my other video about how to make a living from your passion and purpose. So once you've discovered your passion and purpose, how do you turn that into real money inside of your life? There's a quote that I used inside that is so important and so valuable that I want to make sure that you get it here. And if you watch the other one, you're going to get it there to reinforce it, because it is that huge inside of your life. So there's a quote that Thomas Carlyle said, and this quote is, "Our main business is not to see what lies dimly in the distance, but to do what clearly lies at hand." What he's saying there is pretty clear. It's not to focus on all this stuff out in the future, but to do what is lying right in front of you. What opportunities are right there in front of you right now? Do you have multiple opportunities and you're not sure which direction to go? Pick the best one. Pick whatever lights you up the most, or whatever seems to make the most sense to you, and just go for it. And if it's not supposed to work out, it won't. It may fall apart. You have to be okay that failure happens, that sometimes things don't work out, and that could be for a very specific reason, and that's because you have that vision, that goal, that future, but you can't stop taking steps just because maybe you fell down a couple of times. Sir William Osler, who had very profound achievements, was quoted saying, "Live in day-tight compartments," meaning that every day you focus on what is at hand, what is right in front of you, what is possible at this moment, rather than thinking about the future, rather than thinking about all that stuff. It's good to know where you're going. It's good to have a vision and a dream. But when it comes to getting things done and making progress, you have to focus on what is right in front of you at that moment and take the steps necessary to start creating progress. Nothing new was ever created by drawing within the lines, meaning that if you want to do something great, sometimes you have to draw outside what is the convention, the conventional way of doing things. Be willing to be the messy one. Be willing to go outside of the comfort zones or what is accepted. So passion only comes unbridled. As long as you live your life according to the definitions and the limits that others place on you, you will live a bridled life. And that means that you are halted from growing. You are halted from going your own directions because you're afraid of what other people might say, and passion doesn't live in that. If you've ever had a passionate night with a partner, you know that passion does not have limits. It's not like you just stop yourself, and if you do, you're gonna cap the experience. Let passion roam free. Let it come from you within and it's stopped from anything that's around you. I know I just unstopped. I've never heard that word before, but we'll just roll with it. To live with passion, you must break the rules and break the limits that perhaps have been on you before. Be willing to fail in front of everyone. The other thing is to have a healthy perspective of what passion really is. Movies and fairy tales would have us believe that relationships can go on with happily ever after. That they're just filled with bliss and happiness forever. But we all know the truth, if we've been in any type of a relationship, is that there are seasons, there are ups and downs and painful moments and happy moments. There are moments of passion and moments of sadness and moments of compassion and embracing. There's cycles. Passion is not something that just lives within you and exists within every moment of your life once you have found it. It's something that you're pursuing. It's something that you're creating. It's something that you nurture. So passion is not an end goal. It's a feeling that's cultivated by action. William James, one of the first psychologists, who is often associated with people of the likes of Jung and Sigmund Freud, he says, action seems to follow feeling, but really, action and feeling go together. And by regulating action, which is under more the direct control of the will, we can indirectly regulate the feeling, which is not controlled by will. So what he's saying there is that if we want to influence our feelings, passion is a feeling. If we want to influence our feelings, we need to use our will to direct our actions first. And by directing our actions, we can receive the benefit of influencing our feelings. And now that we're coming to a close, I just want to wrap up with just a couple more ideas. And one of them is that your happiness is bigger than you. Finding that thing inside of your life that is going to give you purpose and passion, it's bigger than yourself. It's never going to come from acquiring things or having a nice house or that car that you want. It's going to be about doing something bigger. And ultimately, discovering your passion, your purpose is about waking up to a life that you want to live. Helen Keller wrote, "Many persons have the wrong idea of what constitutes true happiness. It is not attained through self-gratification, but through the fidelity to a higher purpose. Your passion will come from a worthy purpose." So my advice to finding a worthy purpose is to look around inside the world that surrounds you and find what pisses you off and figure out what you can do to fix it. Even if it's on a small scale, what can you do to solve it? My answer to what pisses me off when I looked around the world is that I saw that people need frickin' hope. There's no hope anymore. There is hope, right? But there's a lot of people that are suffering from not feeling hope. I know that a lot of people, the millennial generation, is looking at their lives and they're saying, what the frick is the point? Like, why get out of bed? Why go on? Like, is it just so I can pay bills and have a house? Like, what is there anything that's bigger than the life that we are told we're supposed to live within the boundaries and constraints of the society that we live in? And I'm here to tell you there is. There's more. And I think it starts within each of us. And that's why I make videos like this. This is my answer to the problem. What is your answer? What creativity flows within you? You don't have to just be an artist. Maybe you are a hell of a good snowboarder. Well, get out there and snowboard. And maybe you'll inspire people. Maybe you'll inspire younger people. You know, maybe they'll look at you and say, if he can do it, maybe I can do it. And maybe they will go on to do it. So follow your passion. Find that purpose. What ticks you off? Find a way to solve it. Do good for people. I believe in you. Make sure you guys check out my other videos about how to make a living from your passion and your purpose. And there's a whole lot more if you go to my channel. Please subscribe, hit that like button. I'll see you all in the next video. There's so much more that I could have covered in this video that I didn't. And I just want to take a moment to say that, finding your passion and finding your purpose, it's not
really about passion and purpose. It's just about waking up and feeling good about how you're spending your time on this planet, on Earth, in this world, your experience from day to day, the flavor of life. And passion and purpose is just like a name that we give it. And so in this video, I did my best to help you start the process of making the moves towards discovering what your passion and purpose truly could be. There's a whole lot more to this journey than what I covered in this video. I just hope that this is like a launch pad, a starting place for you to begin your journey. Good luck. I truly hope that you succeed for yourself, for your loved ones, for your family, and for all the rest of us who get to cheer you on from the sidelines.